authentic we are, the more incentive we will have to want to change and to see that we can change things to be more harmonious, more compatible, supportive even of ourselves and each other. And in that way we can create a new world eventually, or communities, societies, from the inside out. Hello! How is you doing? I am currently writing in my Room for Growth journal, which is available for purchase on my website, Celine Adubea, if you're interested. I'm kind of living by this, which is to be honest with yourself about where you are, is to put yourself in the best position to get where you want to be. To get where you want to be. To get where you want to be. And to get where you want to be is not just like to physically move where you want to be, but also to understand, right? It's a play on words with get, which was unintentional but perfect. So I thought about starting my day with cacao today. And I've been feeling like I want to dance. Baby, I'm coming to you. I want to dance, move my body. I like that I woke up early, so that's something. I was gonna write, but now that I'm recording, I kind of feel like just recording it in this way rather than writing. I feel I want to observe my body. I feel some sensation in my the right side of my womb. Very subtle, but it's there. I feel so excited about receiving the microphone. I've ordered some microphones and I'm excited about it. I feel like I'm excited about these things that I'm getting, right? Things to like this. I'm glad to be recording, to have this gimbal. And I have the desire to share on YouTube. And then I question why I haven't, which isn't a big mystery. I just kind of heard myself say. The reason why I haven't shared on YouTube is because I haven't put the things together to share. I haven't done it. And there's a part of me that questions the purpose of sharing, the value of sharing. And that's what I've been working on recently, is getting clear on my values. So having top 5 values, and then looking at how I want to design my life, kind of rippling out from those values. So my core value is authenticity. I feel like that's, for me, it makes sense to live life as your authentic self, you know? And I'm also learning what that means. Like, I'll have the perspective that, oh, when I'm in my own company, I can be really playful some days and I can joke around and laugh with myself. But then when I'm around others, I might, especially people I don't know, I might like want to sit all proper and not feel free to express that playfulness that I feel free to express in my own company. And then I'll be like, oh, but I'm not being authentic. Like, who I am in my own company is my true self, and so I should be able to share that with others. But how I'm being around others is also an expression of my authenticity, right? And so the more I can be present with myself and deepen my understanding of why I am the way I am, why I'm feeling the way I'm feeling, thinking what I'm thinking, perceiving things in the way that I'm perceiving them and doing what I'm doing right, the more I get to know myself authentically, and then I can show up in authenticity, I feel. I'm still learning all about this, genuinely. It's a journey. And so my idea of what it means for me to be authentic can be different from what is actually authentic. Does that make sense? It makes sense for you? So that's been on my mind this month, to be open for a couple of days, not month, this week. For a couple of days, I've thought about being open to get to know myself again, being open to get to know myself in the company of others as well, like responding in certain ways that feels true to me, and being open to not being who I've grown accustomed to being. For instance, I've grown very accustomed to being kind, to being righteous, to being right, like in the right, to the point where I've seen that in some cases I've not treated someone well or right, but then been so focused on my own righteousness that I haven't been open to see how I could have done different in a situation where I felt like someone else was wronging me, you know? And yeah, so I like that openness. I feel kind of, I want to say, proud of my ego as well, which sounds very egotistical, but still I feel this pride in my ego that I've been, or maybe in my ability to hold space for my ego. No, I want to say the ego, because there's this openness to see things that I've done, like, okay, in recent situations, I'm observing myself in recent situations and looking at things that I have done. Like, I'm seeing other people do certain things and I'm like, oh, that looks like a reflection of something that I could have done, before this person came. And then considering the people that were around me and how they have experienced me being in that way that I'm not appreciating someone else being in, And then this cat, so nice. There's this cat that comes outside. Let me see if I can show you. It's nice to be in the company of a cat. I like it. We greeted outside one time. I came home from work, and I think it's a she, it might be a he. It came towards me, and I got to cuddle a little bit. It's really nice. Yes. What was I saying though? Do you remember? Being authentic. So at the core of my values is authenticity. I feel like one of my deepest wounds is also loneliness. So that's a need, like my body, my being has a need for connection, and it's through being authentic that we get to genuinely connect with others. We give ourselves and others the opportunity to connect with us, not just a version of us. Because then whenever we present a version of us for someone to connect with, then there's another version of us that's left behind, that's not welcome in that connection, in that space. But that being said, I've put myself out there in different ways to connect with different people, and I'm sharing with those people where I'm standing, what I'm looking for, what I'm interested in that relation specifically. And so in that way, I am kind of showing up with these different parts of me, the parts of me that I feel is compatible with those people. And I'm being aware that there is more to me, and I want to practice being present with that within myself and learning to navigate relating with others authentically and like figuring it out as I go. because I genuinely today, I don't know how it's going to be. And again, it's about being open to learn. So that's exciting and scary and exciting. It feels like an adventure. And yeah, I'm liking being honest as well. It feels good. So values, authenticity, connection. The next one is growth. I want to grow in all ways, financially, relationally. I'd love to grow from like connecting with people, developing friendships, having that sense of belonging, unity, community eventually. I love growing ideas and bringing them into form and growing personally. Yeah, growing in all ways. So that's my third value. My fourth value I have is freedom, because it's like I want to be free, free to be authentic, free to connect, free to live the life I want to live, free to grow, free to experience the abundance that is available, free to travel, free to experience, did I already say? Free to create, free to share, free to love, free. And then lastly, I have justice, which is actually when I first wrote the question in my notebook, it wasn't this one, it was another one. I wrote, what are my top 5 values? Because that's like a practice that Teal shares that is very beneficial to have those 5 values, and then they're a tool for like directing, navigating your life, being in command of your life. And I just wrote the question down, what are my top 5 values, thinking that's going to be something I'll be able to do eventually, not today. And then I went to like close my notebook, and as I was about to close it, justice came like from my being. And I was like, oh, okay, that's a value. And I used to want to study law actually, and justice as a kid has always been something that I vocalized, like, oh, that's not fair. For instance, it never made sense to me that footballers could make so much money, like millions of money. And then there would be people that are like Doctors Without Borders, I think they're called. I feel like I remember hearing as a kid that there was someone who wasn't making any money doing that kind of work. And it didn't make sense in my mind. Like, what do we value? This person running around with a football, or this person who's actually saving lives and risking their own to save those lives? And this one's not making money, but this one's making millions. Make it make sense, And so like when I got that justice, I was like, okay, I was reminded of those things within me. And also when I was at work, there was a situation and the children were like interacting, and I was like, no, we have to do it this way. And in my being, I was like, oh yeah, because that's justice. It's fair. It's equal. So I noticed that it's a natural part of my being, and I think I'm still learning about how much I care about that and in what ways that shows up in my life. So those are my 5 values: authenticity, connection, growth, freedom, and justice. I had ecology in there, which is like being in a harmonious relationship with all beings on the earth, the planet itself, even the universe at large, which I still really love. And then what I had before connection, I had friendship. But then I was looking at it today actually, and I was like, and I've been feeling it for a while, where I was like, I don't know if I'm ready for full-on friendship. I feel like I need to learn more about connection and experience more of connection, and then eventually develop friendships, I do have friends, but I'm learning again what friendship means to me, and I'm learning about who I am authentically and showing up with myself as authentically, and then connecting from that space, right? So yeah, that's where I've been, that's where I am. And felt like sharing that. I can invite you to look at your top 5 values. And what Teal says is that values, like you could interchange values and needs. Something like that. I have this deck from her. This one is called the Inner Compass, and it's huge. It's the biggest deck I have. Like, look at all these cards. And there's like all these, it's a deck full of values basically. So for instance, this one, intimacy, says to share my innermost experiences with others, to be very close with others, to see, hear, feel, and understand others, and to be seen, felt, heard, and understood by others. And what helped me focus in on 5 values is also remembering that just because I pick these 5 values for now, they don't have to be my 5 values for the rest of my life. I can choose the ones that make sense for me to have today. And you don't need this compass or this deck either. You can research values, or you can go through a list of your own and look at what you have currently. And then what I did is I wrote down authenticity first, and then I wrote about why authenticity is a value for me, what makes it a value. And like, I can share with you my first list of values. First, I had authenticity as the first one. It's been the first one since day one. Then ecology, then entrepreneurship, then justice, then wealth. And then I wrote about all of them. And within authenticity, connection was always there, you know? And then I reorganized my values a couple days later to authenticity, freedom, growth, ecology, justice. I found out that growth had wealth within it, so it was like a win-win. And also entrepreneurship. Entrepreneurship also comes from, is within authenticity, freedom, and growth for me, and justice, and connection. Yeah, so those are some of there's been different rearrangements. Yeah, so I've had those 5, or I've been looking at top 5 values, and then I've looked at, okay, how do I want to design my life from these values? What do I want to do? I asked myself the question, what do I want to be in service of? What feels like, what's something I value, something that I really care about, that I want to be in service of, you know? And when I think about the state of the world, the way things are, like how we've structured human life to be so heavily focused on work and making money and having housing and the cost of housing, and how little time we have and how little space there is to really get to know ourselves in the educational system, even in kindergarten, and the way it all affects, all the different parts of society affect each other, and there's this like very locked situation. And I'm seeing that there's more and more people creating their own ways, making money from things that are outside of the way we've been doing it, and so that they have more time to be with their families or do things that they actually want to do, you know, while they're in this life. And so those are things that I'm like, okay, what could I do to create or to influence change in those things that I feel need change. I think the more authentic we are, the more we connect with ourselves and who we truly are, what we truly are, the more incentive we will have to want to change and to see that we can change things to be more harmonious, more compatible, supportive even of ourselves and each other. And in that way we can create a new world eventually, or communities, societies from the inside out. That's been what I've been like feeling and connecting with recently. And I've thought, okay, so I can share this on my YouTube channel. It's kind of along the lines of what I've been doing, but not as consciously and intentionally, I think. And not as tempered. And so then the question is, how do I want to do it? And I have thought about creating like a vlog type videos, which I still might do, but here we are. I have been wanting to share like a bridging video from where I've been to where I am, and I feel like this just did that very well, so I like that. So yeah, I'm gonna end this video here. Thank you for watching and for being here. And I'd love to hear if you have any values, if you feel like it's something you've thought about before, or if it's something you're gonna think about, you want to consider, then that could be fun to hear about. And feel free to ask any questions if you have them, or any thoughts I'd like to hear. Yes. I can also, before I go, I'll share this last thing, which was when I played with, like, as a way to the gimbal just ran out of battery, so we're gonna move things around. This is nice though. This looks good. Okay. Get it, girl, get. The cat just ran across. She's about to get herself some birds, I think. So as a way to practice, like if you feel like, okay, I would like to look at values, but I don't even know how to start. Something I did is I need to read what I did actually, because I've titled it My Top 3 Values Based on Feeling. Yes. So I was looking at how I want to feel. And I think I probably closed my eyes and I didn't write how I did it. I just wrote the results of, that's a note for next time maybe. And I wrote, or you can close your eyes and look at how do I want to feel in my life? Or maybe even look back at ways that I've felt good before. That's what I did. Okay, I remember now. There was this one time I was at work and I had break and I sat in the sofa and I felt so good. Like I felt like I was with someone and it was summertime and we had nowhere to go and we were just cuddling, being together, and it was this like rich, delicious, beautiful, present feeling, right? And so I was writing down, okay, what are kind of the keywords or the values from this experience that I need or that I value? And I wrote presence, which is what I was feeling like, just being fully present. There's nowhere to go. There's no thing considering the past. It's just enjoying that presence. my own presence and the presence of someone else as well. Even though it was a vision, it was something I was imagining. And then connection, feeling that presence with others, the joy, and the pleasure and the intimacy, and peacefulness as well. So peaceful and warm. And then authenticity, being true in the present, able to truly connect, foundation for true connections, to feel safe with that other person. And then in that safety, feeling that relaxation, and then a ability to be present rather than consider, oh, is this person going to think that? Or right when you're feeling unsafe and unsure around someone, then it's not so peaceful. Yeah, so that's a way that it can be done. And again, the more you write about, for instance, if there's a situation where you remember that you were around a campfire and it was such a good time, then you can write about that experience. And then from looking at that experience, you can see what are the values, like what did I value from this experience? What was it about this experience that gave me something I needed? Laughter, for instance, connection, right? Friendship. Maybe it was music. Maybe it was a sense of belonging. Yeah, so that's some example of how it can be done. Again, thank you for watching. And again, you can get the Room for Growth journal if you want it. Obviously, you can use whatever journal you want, but I'm very excited to share that this has been made. It is a lined journal with lined pages, and it has a little bit of like a few inspirational pages, like this first one I showed you. And there's a letter in there from me to those who get it. And yeah, that's it. Thank you for watching, and see you later, I guess. You know you got it bad when you're stuck in the house. You don't want to have fun, 'cause all you think about, now who